Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite books that I have read so far this year. So it's officially kind of about the halfway point of the year, I believe, correct? So I'm going to showcase the 5 books that I have enjoyed so far in this first half of the year, and these books should most likely make my end of the year video for best books of 2015. And I tell you what guys, this was such a difficult video to even compile my list of top 5. I've already read about 20 some books this year so far, and a good chunk of them I have really enjoyed. So yeah, it was definitely really hard to kind of narrow it down to the top 5. At number 5 is books 4 and 5 in A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin, the 4th book being A Feast for Crows, and the 5th book being A Dance with Dragons. And so far, now, I am totally in the know with all the other A Song of Ice and Fire fans. I am caught up. It's kind of a relief. I don't have to worry about spoilers anymore, you guys. I decided to just go ahead and group these 2 books together because they're essentially kind of one book in some ways when you kind of think about it. But yeah, I really enjoyed both these books. They both had some highs and lows, but the good stuff definitely outweighed the bad stuff. And if you don't already know, just a quick summary about just these books in general. It takes place in the world of Westeros. It's all about politics, court intrigue, lots of death, lots of plotting, and yeah, it takes place in a fantasy world, spans over 2 different continents, a host of wild and crazy characters. If you don't even know what this series is by now, you must be living under a rock. At number 4 is The Last American Vampire by Seth Grahame-Smith. This was released fairly early in the year, I think back in January. And yeah, oh my goodness, I really enjoyed this. This was like the sequel to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and it's focused on Henry Sturgis, who first popped up in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So yeah, this is his complete, total standalone book, and we get more backstory with him. And his character is the one who trained Abraham Lincoln in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter to become a badass vampire slayer. So yeah, Henry was definitely my favorite character in that book. He definitely remains so in this book. It was just nice to see Henry throughout history, starting off in Roanoke and that whole mystery, and then ending kind of in the present day. So yeah, if you really enjoyed Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I definitely recommend this, especially if Henry was your favorite character in that book. At number 3, I have The Life of Pi by Yann Martel, and this is about a boy named Pi who he gets on a ship with his family. His family, they own a bunch of zoo animals, but in the middle of their voyage, the ship sinks, and Pi is left all by himself out in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of zoo animals, some of them being a hyena, a zebra, and a tiger. And so this whole book is mostly focused on the relationship between Pi and the tiger, Richard Parker. And together, the 2 of them, along with the other animals, they have to battle it out in the elements, and their limits are put to the test, and Pi's faith is also put to the test. One of the most stunning books I read this year, just so many things to sit and ponder, very theological, very symbolic and metaphoric, beautiful writing. I definitely would love to read this one again in the future, just so good. Just a lot of heart to it, a lot of inspiration, definitely just kind of gut-wrenching in places. At number 2 is Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay, and this is about a journalist named Julia Jarmond who is writing an article about the 60th anniversary of the Belle de Hive, which was an event in France when the French police rounded up all of the Jewish residents and basically turned them over to the Nazis. And alongside that story, which takes place in the present day, it also has a historical fiction aspect to it, and it also tells the story of a little girl named Sarah, who is a part of that roundup, and she has to make a quick decision to lock up her brother in a cupboard to save him from the police. So this whole story, the novel, it all connects in some fashion between the little girl Sarah in the past and Julia in the present, and this big mystery about what happened to Sarah and her brother. Woo! I love this book, you guys. It was so freaking emotional and heartbreaking and just all the feels. I loved it so much. Tatiana de Rosnay's writing was so stunning and descriptive and beautiful. She definitely did her research. I loved both aspects of the narrative between Julia and Sarah. And more importantly, this book introduced me to the Vel de Hive, which I had no knowledge of previously, going into this book. So yeah, all my thanks to Tatiana de Rosnay for creating this masterpiece of a book, in my opinion. And my favorite book of the year so far is going to A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. And this is about a woman named Ruth who comes across this Hello Kitty lunchbox, and inside is a diary belonging to this girl named Now. And Ruth quickly realizes that this lunchbox has perhaps washed up on shore due to the tsunami that happened in 2011 in Japan. By far and away, my most favorite book of the year so far. Wow, there's so much going on in this book. It's a rather simplistic novel in some ways, but I think that's what makes it so powerful and moving and really makes you think, and you just think about humanity, I guess. As you may have already guessed if you've watched my channel for a long time, I don't read too much contemporary fiction, and this book is definitely a contemporary piece. And yeah, probably one of the best contemporaries I've read in a long time. I just loved how Ruth Ozeki weaved in Now and Ruth's stories and how they both gain a weird sort of inspiration from one another, even though they have no idea who the other is and they never once meet. Just a great story about adolescence and growing up, and even has some really great religious undertones present throughout the book. So that's it for my top 5. In the comments below, what books have you guys read in this first half of the year that you have really enjoyed? Just list it. I'm definitely really looking forward to the second half of this year. I have lots of books lined up that I really want to get to, so I should have a pretty badass list by the end of the year. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this top 5, you may like these other top 5s. Bye guys.